What could you do with a business line of credit of 20,000 to $2 million? Plenty, right? This incredible business line of credit is available. Bad credit, 575 Equifax. I'll go over what Experian and TransUnion is. You'll get the full details so you know if you are eligible or not, and plenty more. So please stick with me throughout this video so you can see all of the juicy details from this incredibly standout premium business line of credit with low interest rates, a standout again, and where we are now in our economy, tariffs, trade policy. I can go on and on. So much is going on. Consumer sentiment, the housing, the labor shortage, supply and demand out there, and a lot of businesses having trouble keeping up with payments. There's delinquencies, bad credit issues, a lot of debt, a lot of open balances that are not being paid down and fast enough. And even if and when they are, at whatever time that is, it surfaces back again. Not enough businesses have enough available and readily accessible funds to use for working capital to mitigate costs and expenses, risks, expenditures, to bridge cash flow gaps. Something suddenly comes up you didn't think of. Oh, I need that. I had to let go of someone, so I had to do a couple of roles in the meantime. And I can really use the available cash flow if it's not used to fuel growth and expansion just yet, to balance and then to grow and expand to be used, and so much more. So I completely understand it. I do. My name is Michael, in case you didn't know. I'm a business funding expert, a multiple business owner and entrepreneur who's been through a lot of this, who's seeing a lot right now. I'm up to date in the markets. I've participated in billion-dollar valuation projects, multi-million dollar projects. I've put together business plans, investment proposals, detailed project budgets. I look over financials, documents, personal and business credit reports. I'm the introvert, quiet, reserved, analytical, cerebral, brainy, meticulous, calculating, in all the ethical ways. I have myself as a person together. Personal growth and development, self-development, self-mastery, my habits, my routines, my way of being. I'm very loyal, kind and nice, considerate, compassionate is the word, extremely trustworthy, accountable, responsible, reliable. These are things that I have governing principles, values, vision, mission, morals, ethics, character, characteristic traits. All that matters. And so I have your best interest at heart. And looking deeper than just clicking everywhere to go start an application process or accepting any email that you get sent to you, what is the standard? At what level do you operate now and wish to operate? What would you rather manifest and aspire and who to become if you're not that person now? And are you living in that? So by the time you achieve that, you've been living that. It's about the process, the systems, the journey, and growing in so many ways than just business, in life. So aside from that, let's get into this. I have multiple tabs open, and here you can see there's an image, bad credit, 575 Equifax, business line of credit, 20,000 to 2 million available. You can reply ready in the comments after you know if you're eligible or not too. You can also send me an email if this is how you got here by clicking the link in an email. If you have my email, you can send me one. It's also in the description, so you can send me an email, reach out to me on social media. If we're on a text by text basis, there's that too, and etc. Okay, so please stick with me because you will be getting all of the details. So let's go over to this tab right here, overview. Loan amounts ranges from 20,000 to 2 million. Quite a lot, right? And here, this is something that is changing everything. As in, when a lot of companies don't have this kind of offering, and you finally get something like this with low credit available to get it, is truly revolutionary, spectacular. And so much so that this is in high demand that there is a 2 day wait list. That's how huge this is. Again, loan amounts ranges from 20,000 to 2 million. Credit requirements, minimum credit score, 595 with Experian, 575 with Equifax, 585 with TransUnion, with no recent late payments on credit cards, cars, mortgages, no open bankruptcies, child support, collections, or charge-offs. There's the catch. It's not a catch. I know where the mind goes. I know the psychology of funding finance, outside of funding finance and other businesses, because I've looked and reviewed so many with and without funding, helping them bridge better cash flow in so many ways that's not even just debt related. I even created a product on the Fix Your Finances 5 day cash flow reset. I'll show you towards the end of this video. So you can identify your money leaks, cash flow leaks, fix, manage better, control, and so much more. So there is no catch to this. It's a give and a take. It's like you're getting this, you have to give this. Okay? And that's like anything in life. It's a life lesson. Give to receive. What are you receiving back? What are you giving out to the world? What are you giving into internally and also giving out externally? Again, no recent late payments on credit cards, cars, mortgages, no open bankruptcies, child support, collections, or charge-offs. Eligibility criteria, citizenship, must be a U.S. citizen. Very straightforward, right? And another thing I want to mention before I go further into this eligibility criteria is for hospitality, restaurants, and those that this is more specialized in, and there are prohibited industries. So please stick with me, and I'll be showing you what those are. And again, at a micro and macro level, I follow everything that's going on very closely. The markets, trade, labor markets, supply and demand, housing, consumer sentiment, pricing, inflation, rates, and so much more. And a lot of businesses are still struggling to this day with so much, not because of what has been changing, what's being added, taken away from, things that are residue, things that have happened after COVID, even pre-COVID. So there's just so much that happens, and it's all a balancing act. And do businesses truly recover? Some businesses haven't, and they're still trying to find ways of adding more revenue streams and models to their business where that may not make most sense. They need to trim and be much more light. There's so much more that I can look at a business. So in many ways, I can help. It's not just funding like a lot of others. And many people can just tell you requirements. They can go over qualifications. Here's the process. Here's how it'll work. I can do all that on the front end. That's not, for me, I'm better back end. I'd rather be alone, just doing the work behind the computer, numbers, input, cash flow, profitability analysis, and much more reviews. I could do both. And you have someone at a level of business that understands it deeply, customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, lifetime gross profit, understanding net free cash flow, understanding phasing and cash flow, and where you're putting your money in to grow and expand it at the right time. How much is left over? What do you need to do with your profits, your net cash flow, and so much more? Top line, bottom line. Here's what we need to do. We need to add this part into the sales process, sales cycle. You need to enter a new market. It's not the right time. You're expanding too early. Here's what you're paying. Here's what you need to be more careful of. Here's key opportunities for growth. Here's what we need to stabilize first. Here, let's add email marketing. I'm also a digital marketing strategist. Before I got into finance funding, started a digital marketing agency, lead generation business. At around the same time, building my health affiliate marketing business on the health side. Went into the e-marketing, make money online niche, helping people get better ROI, short-term and long-term, tools, resources, traffic, training, software as a service, funding finance then, now for many years. And I'm in different ventures, projects, investments. So I know the landscape of the funding finance and then some. Employee requirement, businesses must have at least 3 employees. The owner, that's you, or you're someone helping the owner, or you'll be in the business soon, however that is, must have at least 3 employees. The owner counts as one, uno, and a husband and wife can count as two. Spouse, husband, and wife can count as two. So the owner counts as one, and a husband and wife can count as two. Now, with that or without that, you have employees, whoever they are in relation to you, they're your employees. You have 3 or more. Okay, great. Minimum 20,000 in average monthly sales. Let me put this in red right here. Can even go up a little higher. Minimum 20,000 in average, keyword average, monthly, not, I didn't say yearly, sales. And I mean that kindly and nicely. And I'm sure you didn't take that out of context or think of it any other way, but you can imagine how many people I've helped that would think otherwise. And it's very simple, common sense. And at times we just need to look back at things. We need to slow down ourselves and learn how to delay instant gratification, become more patient. Through business, get your business straight, and then the mind, body, soul, the spirit. Mind, body, spirit. Like you could be doing that before your business is where you want it to be and start working on that too. It's about personal growth and development, self mastery, growing into something and more. The purpose, the value, the vision, the mission, the morals, the ethics, character, characteristic traits. It's further than funding finance to me. It's way farther than that. Funding finance is only a platform. I can leave this business at any moment and I still have what I have. And I know what I'm doing at a greater purpose to serve communities, to serve your business. Through your business, there's purpose. You're able to help a family of 4 who are really relying on your gas station, your convenience store, supermarket, on your manufacturing business that then goes from this person to the supplier, distribution, supply chain looks like this. I see further beyond the smiles on your face and your employees, customer end, the environment, the SDGs, the ESGs, all this other stuff. I see all of that. There's much more purpose and vision and fight. And the things that I'm creating too for myself and what I'm doing, and so much more. Funding details. Business closing, 6-day business close. So relatively quick when you consider other services like a cash advance, those could be same day, within 1 to 2 days, 1 to 5 days, more or less, depending on the review, how good the file is, and more. This here, 6-day business close is generally what you would see out there. Others could take longer, go to an FDIC bank, and it could be 10 to 15 days, 7 to 15 days, up to 30 days because of the underwriting it takes. And you still have to consider that this is a bank. And here what you get, private investors bank. And a 6-day business close, phenomenal. So you can get that, use it, and use it how you need to. For what it is, whatever that means to you, how to use that business line of credit is very, very flexible. Something comes up again, an emergency, we lost the contract. Maybe the line of credit doesn't make up for all of that. You needed a lump sum. There are more ways. So if you don't qualify so far for with what I've shown you, and I'll get into the prohibited industry, so please stick with me. There is lump sum type of funding with like cash advances, there's cash out refinances, and I have a questionnaire form here on my site. You see just some of the companies I've helped get funding. There are plenty more. And you would select from one of these two, whichever one applies to you. And a lot of people go through here. And it's not an application. Please read the top. It's for me to better understand and for me to pre-underwrite. It's not going through application and underwriting. It's before we get into that stage of going through application, full pre-qualification to application process throughout that and furthermore. So I can better understand. And then when I have the documents, I can better understand and review. And so there's that there. Here's my website. And again, I'll show you how you can get your cash flow in balance, spot your money leaks, and more. I'll get to that soon. Here is my Facebook group. Here's my Facebook group where I help people in many ways, not just funding related. I also have a financial literacy and growth group. I have others too for my businesses. Here is my Instagram where I'll post from time to time. I'll even do a live and I'll show up spontaneously. So if you want to ever follow me here on Instagram, and I'll do a spontaneous live every now and then. I used to have them more structured where I know I'd come in and speak about this or news update. And video is not my favorite thing, but I know it gives you a lot of value in how I show up in that format and how you can absorb the information. I get it. So I put myself out of my own way, and I have to have a lot of courage to do that. It takes for me a lot of courage and bravery to be on video. And I'm there helping and delivering. So I can help you in many ways. I leave an open room, credit, cash flow, collateral, liquidity, equity, real estate in the mix, personal growth and development, marketing, sales. I'm not a salesperson myself, but I understand. And I was once an academic student studying chemical engineering, and then I went into business, got my degree there. I've worked construction, manufacturing, warehousing, once a ramp agent, courier role, doing administrative dispatch. Did not like dispatch, but sometimes we have to do what we have to do, right? And then I helped them on their marketing, inventory. They had the inventory things, customer budget, understanding their customers and doing more. Financial logistics company then for a huge contracting company servicing HP and others in the vicinity. There is a massive downturn at a point. I was very underpaid, undervalued. I'd even say that. And I had to go back on unemployment benefits and food stamp cards. This was many, many years ago, over a decade plus ago. And so, like many of us do, is we don't want to just go back to school and or more certification, another job, career, and we start our venture down business ownership and entrepreneurship. So I have that here. I have my link tree here. Yeah, you can also access directly from my Instagram. Over here, I have the 5 financial cash flow traps video. I'll get into this soon and we'll hold business owners back and you can pick up. But let's come back to here. Again, minimum 20,000 in average monthly sales. That's very respectable. And then when you consider that's 20,000 in average monthly sales and the minimum is 20,000 in the loan amount, that's good. And you want to keep a balance. You want to keep something at a minimum and make sure you have enough to pay back the debt. If you have other debt too, and your credit score is where it is, and we already know there's a lot of delinquencies going on in the economy, a lot of credit issues, a lot of balances that haven't been 100% paid, carryover balances, over an extra 500 over your total balance on a credit card or multiple credit cards, mortgages, you're in between getting a mortgage. There's just so much that goes on. So it's about being cautious. And in other places too, not here, you'd expect to see a 670 plus, 680 plus credit score, if not on all 3 consumer credit bureaus, if not 700, 720 plus. So here with low credit, 575 Equifax, 585 TransUnion, 595 Experian, that's awesome. It's super amazing. And then in other places out there, minimum of 250,000 in annual gross revenue. Okay, well here you see a minimum of 20,000 in average monthly sales. Funding details, again, business closing, 6-day business close. Just wanted to make sure, again, we went over that and you have a full understanding that it can be relatively quickly in your hands. You could be using that funding. Interest rates, weekly rates are A credit lines, but an A credit score is not required. Obviously, as you saw the credit score, and it's an A credit rate and rates. That's super transforming. How could I get an A credit rate and rates if at a 680 credit score, I may not even have gotten an A credit rate? I still have to be filtered if I'm going through fintech, or this provider would not want this versus that. They're picky about this, having this met. And even when you meet the minimum, it's still not enough to get approved for. And here, the minimum on credit and you're getting weekly rates are A credit rates. But an A credit score is not required. Superior to be factored into this, the A credit rates. It's hard for me to put the words together. Amazing though. Rates start at 0.50%. Again, 0.50% per week, equivalent to 2% per month or 24% annually. Very simple math in numbers. We don't have to reverse engineer how we got to 24% annually, then the 2% per month, 0.50% per week. That's very simple and straightforward to look at. And here's simple interest only pay for what is drawn with a 2% draw fee. 0.50%, that's respectable. That's very good, high quality. And others where you would likely see a range in different places, not here. And like with the fintech provider, how much you're paying on it per weekly from this minimum to that maximum. And you could see more or less. And so with the low credit at 0.50% per week, that's very understandable that it is at that number. Equivalent again to 2% per month or 24% annually. And look at the business credit cards out there, the APR and how that's been going up and what you will likely see going up, where we are right now in the economy. You see so much going on with tax cuts, tax incentives, additions, extensions, stimulus, what that does, why you're giving a stimulus, and there's just so much more to understand. Understanding GDP, the Fed run rate. There's just so much that's going out there, and you're playing a balancing act. Simple interest only pay for what is drawn with a 2% draw fee. That's the benefit of having a business line of credit is when I don't have a lump sum, I can just draw what I need and use it at that time and only pay on what I draw. No, I'm given approved for 50,000, you get 50,000 in a lump sum, you're owing it automatically already on all of that. There's no draw from that. That's a lump sum. Not saying that that's bad. It just depends on how you use it. And I'll get in more into that here in a moment on understanding it. Or I'll share a little bit about that now is when you take a lump sum of funding, how is your ROI going to appear? How much in additional net profit will your business generate realistically? How much in additional net profit will your business generate monthly realistically? Are you doubling your ROI? What's the cost of the funds on the cash advance or the other type of funding? How much interest are you paying? What are the rates? Understanding that you're using lump sum funding that's higher rate for growth and expansion. I only needed it for 6 months. I got 12-month approved for. This will be paid back in about 3 months, or you need the whole term to mature. You have to understand what you're using that funding for. And if you get a lump sum that's higher rates, is just using it to make payroll, to have extra cash on hand when you needed it. You're not sure when you'll need it. Emergency funds, equipment issue that equipment that gets repaired, you're not going to have it out running for another month for other reasons or for other things you need to add. Insurance, things expired, like you're leasing, you need to buy a building, buy out, an extension, person next door, permits. There's a lot of things you got to understand. Coding, and like I'm sure you do if you're going through this or at some point will. I see all of this because I've dealt with it in all types of industries. Acquisitions, non-acquisitions, how do we do that with the SBA, 7A, without it, with creative credit-based financing by other means. There's so many different services that I've helped: real estate, commercial, fix and flips, rental, cash out refinances, a DSCR 30-year mortgage or not, and it's a hard money, interest rate only, bridge loan type of thing, builder's line of credit. There's plenty more that I've seen. Land development, trusts, first trust deed on dirt, valuations, appraisals. I've seen a lot of things. Terms 12 to 36 months, not 6 months. Like if you were to get a business credit card and it's only 6 months, not saying that that's bad. If you got a couple, maybe that's not the one you used quickly or used too much of, and you had another one because you had longer term needs to pay that money back. So the balance stays out a little longer, whatever the reason is. 12 to 36 months. 12 equal to 1 year. 36 months equal to 3 years. So pretty lengthy line of credit, right? And a lot of times you don't even need it that long out unless you have a huge project. And then did you get approved for a large amount? You may need it longer then, or vice versa. It just depends on what you have ongoing, how fast you can pay things down, how fast you let it sit out, how much more you need to take out from your total available you can withdraw from. You take 10,000 now, then I'm going to need to take 15,000. While I have that 10,000, I have about 4,000 of that remaining, etc. So it's a balancing and understanding how much you withdraw, at what time you withdraw, and how that gets recalculated and all of that. And I won't spend so much time on the numbers here. I've broken it down for other business lines of credit before in the past, and I just didn't want to spend the time going through all the numbers, the logistics of it. I am a numbers guy, like I said, so I could always break it down, but I want to keep going on in this video. And again, if so far you meet this, stick with me. There's more on the prohibited industry side, so make sure you do. And again, down below in the comments, have you ever received a line of credit? Are you looking for another one? Have you been declined? You're not sure of, going through the right process, organization, person, most importantly, who has your best interest at heart, the character. Again, terms 12 to 36 months, and this is a weekly payment. It's not like you need monthly. Monthly isn't easily given out in this economy and everything going on. Weekly payment, a lot of people actually would prefer weekly. It helps them track their cash flow, track their expenses, their revenue much more accurately. And if you do already do daily and weekly assessments, monthly, should be doing daily and weekly assessments, at the most weekly, not even bi-weekly, and assessing where everything is being allocated, capital allocation and restructures, and just all this that you need to understand with and without debt. Clients must make an initial draw of at least 5,000 for the deal to fund. So yeah, who's giving you the money needs to ensure that they'll also get their money too. And you need to make sure you're going to use the line of credit, not just let it sit out there. And what you've heard and seen perhaps out there when people have a line of credit and they don't even use it, like banks and withdrawing from their line of credit, meaning not like withdrawing money out, I mean taking it away, withdrawing meaning taking it away, and things like that out there that you may not even see happen. And those are the things that you have to understand, is making sure you take the line of credit that you'll use it. How often you use it, that's another thing. Use it as often as you need to. It's there for when you need it. And make sure you're applying it for the right reasons and the right uses of funds. Additional details: high FICO scores. Clients with a FICO score of 750 can receive a 1% per month or 0.25% per week, totaling 12% per year. So we just split that in half. Simple numbers again. Before, rates start at 0.50% per week. That was equivalent to 2% per month or 24% annually. Here, with a FICO score of 750, better credit can receive 1% per month or 0.25% per week, totaling 12% per year. At 12%, where else are you going to be receiving something like that? Yes, there are lump sums and things like that, amortized, things that you see 9 to 13%, prime rate plus additional 5 to 6% plus up to 15%, 13%, more or less. On a line of credit, totaling 12% per year. Breathtaking. Default policy, any defaults must be older than 12 years for approval. Otherwise, it results in immediate denial, decline. Again, let me read that. Default policy, any defaults must be older than 12 years for approval. Otherwise, it results in immediate denial. Remember, give and take, give to receive, be open to receiving, be and stay humble. There's no catch. This is ensuring everyone gets what they need to get. What you see from banks, private investors, lenders, making sure they get their return on investment. You do. Everyone wins. The economy, so much going out, supply chain, industrial, mortgages, rent, buildable land, lot size. There's just so much that's out there where things have become less growth and where we're leaning into with the economy. Additional details, excuse me, geographic restrictions, not funding in the states of Nevada, Nebraska, and Virginia. Think about regulations, restrictions, laws, policies, how much it's harder to do, and being compliant, the risk appetite, the appetite, and more. And if you're within those and you have better credit, there might be another option for a line of credit. And if not, that's okay. When things open up, they close. And if it's a lump sum, it's a lump sum that you need. And if it's not a bank term loan, line of credit, FDIC bank, and SBA, then it's very likely we have to look at cash advance. And again, the ROI being greater than the cost, the benefit being greater than the cost of funds and the total amount of payment and repayment. You have to understand that. And will it always help cash flow when you take something higher rate? No, not a lot of the time. It could, depending on what you do with that money and how much you can grow your cash flow and how sustainable that is. But there's so much more to factor in. And not taking an opportunity to lose out, like on $1 million contract or $2 million contract, a piece of equipment that you're really needed, because then that will help you open up another location, help you bring someone in. Now you can pay them well, the billing rate and everything. You're not overpaying them. You freed up time to do other things, to show up and share the vision, the mission, the purpose of what you do, and bring more relationships in, or whatever that is. It could be so many different things. You're looking at it at a higher level. You have people doing that on the ground floor for you, back end work, whatever it is. Risk assessment, low credit scores, high debt ratios are acceptable, and interest rates will be adjusted accordingly. Again, low credit scores, high debt ratios are acceptable. Think about it. If you already had that credit score, it's likely you already have high ratios in debt, debt to income. And there could be a lot of other things that are going on. So low credit scores, high debt ratios are acceptable, and interest rates will be adjusted accordingly. Comparison with MCAs, the line of credit could be 1.55% per week, contrasting with MCAs that may exceed 100% APR. At a 1.55% per week, when other places you might see like 0.67, to 1.39% per week, 2%, 3% plus, more or less, like what you're getting here is amazing. Again, the line of credit could be 1.55% per week, contrasting with MCAs that may exceed 100% APR, 30%, 40, 60, 80, 100% plus APR on those cash advances. And again, the numbers, if you don't know your numbers, I see so many business owners. Again, I do a full analysis of many businesses, participating in billion-dollar valuation projects, put together investment proposals, detailed project budgets, and more. My head is down and I'm working. You hear me now, but I'm gonna go take a break after this is done, and I'm a little tired already up here. And I mean that kindly and nicely. Is so many people are also drawn to theatrics and novelty that they seek online when they watch a videos, blog posts, social media. Is I'm not that entertainment style first thing that comes to mind. I can add that. I have had it. I'm less of that. I'm very easygoing, but most people seek something new and novelty, the most loud in the room, and that's not who I am. I'm that person in the room that's very quiet, silent. I'm an older brother. I have a younger brother, and we're kind of a little the opposite in certain ways. And I could read a room extremely well. I'm a very keen observer of circumstances, the people who I want to align with. And again, it's just accepting a standard. You don't have to be at the standard that I'm at. Just have the focus, the discipline, grow into that more, punctuality, and more. And I can help in so many more ways than just funding. And the MCA, does the overall benefit exceed the repayment? Does the ROI have that? The net profit, gross profit, the margins, how much in additional customers will you get? How many more leads? And after those many leads, how many of those would you be able to book an appointment with? Or if it's not that immediately, or if it is, like how many of those would you be able to get signed up, get a sale from? What are the unit economics, the input and output? There's so much more than just take the money that's a high rate because you have a great growth and expansion opportunity. How about your cash flow? Even if that's not going to look the best, but you really needed the funds, and what would happen if you didn't take them? There's other areas we need to look at, the foundation and other areas too of the business in more detail. So I'm not saying that those are always bad, the MCAs, the cash advances, hybrid cash advances. Do you have the right use for it? Payroll just to stay afloat? Well, of course not. You may have had a good use. Now you had to take more for whatever reason that is. You lost a piece of equipment, employees, inventory rollover, shortage. You need to get this inventory out of your shelves as quick. You weren't turning enough of a profit or a profit at all. You're already at a loss. Tariffs coming in as an effective tariff rate. It's already here. You're already passing this down. You have to eat up this. Everybody will eat that up in the supply chain. You have manufacturers, distributors, suppliers, the vendors, and so much more. Got to account for all of this, and I'm sure you have or will. Industry restrictions, this is very important, as said. Prohibited industries, no massage parlors, no adult entertainment, no car dealerships, no construction companies, although that has been opening up a little bit every here and there. No solar energy companies. Some food trucks are acceptable. No renewable energy companies, no real estate companies. And if things were to change, I'll let you know and give you an update. If you have this document, you have it. If you don't, that's okay. If you weren't given this document, it's okay. You can always replay this, come back. And if you got to here by watching the or clicking a link in an email or by another way, you can email me back. My email will be in the description too. You can leave me a comment, send me an email, reach out to me in social media, text by text basis if we are, etc. from there. Hospitality requirements, business longevity. Hospitality businesses must have been operational for at least 1 month. I didn't say 3, 5, 7, 1 month. Really? Yeah, 1 month. Again, business longevity, hospitality businesses must have been operational for at least a minimum of 1 month. Cool, right? Where, oh, I thought I needed 2 years here, and I heard over here 2 years, 6 months, 8 months, 1 month? Huh. And have 1 month of business revenue. I'll get into what the documents I'll collect and more of that on the bank statements. So please stick with me. So here again, at least 1 month have been in operation and have 1 month of business revenue. All other industries, minimum 3 months time in business. Minimum of 3 months time in business. Do you know how awesome that is? And you see places elsewhere when you're also getting a lump sum that we need 4 months and you have to have at least 3 months of bank statements. And there's so much more you may have to meet, even at a low amount. All other industries, minimum 3 months in business, time in business. The leverage limits, 75% to 125% of leverage based on 1 month deposits. I didn't say 3, 5, 7, again, 12. And that's a lot of leverage. 75% to 125% when you do see other places, fintech and others, that it could be like 40 to 60%, 40 to 80, 40 to 120%, 65 to 85%, 75% to 125%. And even if there are places that could do more than that, the requirements that you would need to meet just to be approved for more, making sure the cash flow is correct. Because that's what matters a lot. When you look at bank statements, when I do my analysis, and I've done so many reviews on bank statements, tax returns, P&Ls, balance sheets, debt schedules, you name it. I go through my list. I have my Excel opened. I have my document. I have things that I assess per business, front end, back end, if so, and applicable. So there's a lot that I look at and how I do an analysis on these things and make sure that I look at everything. Average monthly deposits, average daily bank balance, total over how many months that I'm looking at. And from that number, what do I look at? How much extra cushion should you have in additional cash flow? So by servicing the debt, you're not going down under and break even, struggling. There's much more to look at. And so on this side, I have an underwriting mind. I should be an underwriter, 100%. But I don't because don't do it because I want the opportunity cost, the opportunity, the trade-off to have my own business and do it the way that I want to do it and not have to be there whenever somebody's always asking for it. And always have to be underneath in-house looking at this, like free up the energy and time, time freedom, energy and time freedom. Again, of leverage based on 1 month of deposits. The NSF policy, non-sufficient funds, no more than 7. It's a lot of already room you're getting. Other ones you see no more than 5, and negative days too, over like 3 months, 4 months. Here, no more than 7 non-sufficient funds, occurrences per month. Again, occurrences per month, and no negative days. What are you withdrawing? You're already in the negative. It shows lack of structure, stability for cash flow, and other parts of the business. Operationally, OPEX, operational costs, expenses, overhead, and more. Last part, docs that are needed to review a business loan application and what I can collect from you. Last 4 months of business bank statements. So here we're looking at on leverage based on 1 month deposits, but here we're asking for 4 months of business bank statements to have a thorough review. The month to date also, if past the 15th of the month. At the time of me releasing this, you'll likely see it on the 15th of September, 16th, whatever that day is. So just understand that. Going into the next month, if you did it before past the 15th of October, so month to date, if past the 15th of the month, then I would have to gather that. If not that, Then no, very likely not, unless things change. And then most recent business tax returns. Really paying attention to everything there, the numbers, line items, making sure anything isn't levied that's not encumbered, that'll hold you and us back. It could result in a decline. And as I'm making this video, when I'm releasing it, it is 2025, the year. And so now 2024 tax returns, unless you don't have those completed, an extension or whatever you have going on there, there's so many things that happen. Then 2023. Okay. So one or the other. If both ask for, then I can ask for both if need be. 2026, what do we need? 2025. Not completed, 2024. The most recent. So 2024 now, supply that if completed. If not, 2023. If you don't have both, nothing else in lieu of, unless something did come up, P&Ls and things, but no. Just that you don't have to voice that. When I went like this is like kindly and nicely, just know that that's what's here. No, but if I no, it's what's there. And I don't have to explain it. I don't have to say it. That's just common, isn't it? Like I don't have to. I'm not trying to be the bad. I'm not a bad guy. Just don't put me in that position. Like, oh, you don't have them because of that's different. We're talking about something else. But when you go, oh well, I could have supplied. No, no, no. But I told you that this is what I need. Otherwise, I would have told you already. So here again, docs needed for review. Very simple, very basic hospitality requirements, industry restrictions, very important, risk assessment, geographic restrictions, additional details, funding details, eligibility criteria, credit requirements, and overview. A few things that I did want to show you here on the sites. I'll go into where you can find my cash flow product and get started with that. Again, here's the site that I have. Over here, the questionnaire form that I normally have people submit. And this way I can pre-underwrite. And it's not an application, it's for me to better understand what you have. And I've been doing this for many years. I have a process, my system, and the right amount of automation. And I can respond in an email, give you a very customized plan, solution on credit, cash flow, collateral, and more, all in one document, all in one place, PDF, and show you what's your best option to take and how to get started and all that. Other times I have individual documents. There's so much that I've done and many other ways that I can help you with it. It doesn't just have to be a phone call. A phone call isn't always needed. I'm telling you the honest truth. I have a lot of great relationships that I still haven't spoken to them on the phone. And they would actually prefer not to. They're busy. I get it. I'm busy too. I understand it. As a business owner and entrepreneur, I get it. You don't have to explain yourself. And many people would prefer just text me, Michael. Send me an email. Thank you. Because as an introvert, I'd rather do that. I understand when this is needed. Is it for clarity throughout the process? You already knew the details, you just wanted some clarity. At least you already knew. So we're already at a different step and phase. Does that make sense? Other times in the beginning, before getting all this information, you may need it, or I may reach out that way. Maybe there was something that was given that I actually needed and I couldn't do the rest of it, or it was all there for urgency or for something that I had available time to do and I did. And I looked at their business, your business, who the person is, and that really aligns just by looking and getting to know more. There's different ways of communication and different channels as things progress. So, contrary to popular belief, what you think is always what you want is not always what you'll need and always what you'll get. Okay, it has to make sense. Energy and time and so much. And I've had a lot of tire kickers. You can't imagine. I'm not perfect, but I don't deserve those things. I work on myself every day as a person in business, in mind, body, spirit, soul. I don't have the energy and time to give someone who is hard to help. And I can help you in more ways. Excuse me, oh, my mustache. And I can help you in so many ways, beliefs, aspirations, manifestations, and so much more. Discipline. I can go on and I can help you change those beliefs and understand consciously and subconsciously how to do things more of your doing better than what you're doing, etc. And you don't have to, again, be where I'm at, but what's the standard? Where do you want to get to? Where do you want to rise to? Do you want to just be getting calls, emails from who? And you just accept that? Social media, you saw this, or you spoke to that person. I don't, they don't align with my value. See, you're paying closer attention to your values, your purpose, the relatability, the personal journey, the caring nature. Sure, caring nature, but there's got to be more than that. With me, you're going to get plugged in so many ways that I'm going to help you, that I've already helped many others. So here's my form. I have here, again, the Facebook side, my Instagram. Here I have my link tree. And when you were to click right here, I already have it opened over here, the first button. So let me just show you by clicking here. Right there. This is that page. Let me exit out. And watch this video to discover the 5 silent cash flow traps keeping business owners broke, even when sales are up. Step 2, get your free guide and action checklist here. When you click right there, opens an external window. Free guide and action checklist, discover the 5 financial traps keeping business owners broke and how to escape them. So not just what those 5 financial traps are, but how to escape, how to fix them. Download your free step-by-step guide to finally take control of your cash flow, taxes, and wealth, even if you're stuck, overwhelmed, or just tired of feeling behind and falling behind. Plus, get exclusive access to my free business credit building video series, $500 value. You're not paying that, it's just high value. Name and email. Once you do, you'll go to my thank you page. It'll be delivered to your inbox, but you'll get to a thank you page after this. And then you can check out my Fix Your Finances 5-day cash flow reset. From that page, you can click a button, go to the Fix Your Finances 5-day cash flow reset and understand what that's all about, helping you identify and spot cash flow, money leaks, and how to better your cash flow and so much more that'll help you and at a high level. Things that I give you on a PDF, Excel things, and so much more. So very valuable stuff, high level stuff you'll always have to reference when you need to use it and get ahead of it so you're not falling behind on cash and not having to close down your doors because a lack of cash flow. And most businesses run out of cash flow quickly when they don't manage it. They don't account for all parts of cash flow, how they're getting that cash flow, the what and the how to get that cash flow. And so much that happens where businesses go down under because of cash flow issues. So you want to avoid that. No matter how well your business is doing, it could be doing great in cash flow. This is still something you'll need. Still something that you'll want to reference and have. Oh, I figured out how to do this better. Or I didn't know that. I have something now that I can add to what I'm doing. Oh, here we go. This was working. Okay, I'm going to do more of that. So it's a greater purpose than just funding, isn't it? So eventually, once you go through this in my funnel, you'll get to the Fix Your Finances 5-day cash flow reset, page where you'll see everything. I'll have a video individually where I'll show you on that page what you're getting access to and everything. So I do have that. And then from my site, you can go to services and it should be the first one. So when you go to services, it should be the first one that you can check out. So let me click right here. Services, like this is a do it yourself. There's done for you out there things. There's do it yourself that you hear about, done for you, do it yourself. Here, you can see it with the 5-day cash flow reset, Fix Your Finances. You click right here to learn more. And here's the page where you can learn more and everything you're getting access to. Bonuses too that you'll get that are exclusive, that are amazing and very helpful. And so one last thing, again, don't mean to recap, but you got to see this. You got to understand this incredible business line of credit that is a standout for its features, premium business line of credit, A credit rates, even with bad, low, poor credit. If you have better credit and you still want to go through this, there's that too. And if you couldn't qualify, then there are other options. Sure, but it's not a line of credit. Okay, it's not the end of everything. It's just maybe it's the foundational crack in the business, more than one crack. And this is what's not allowing you to take that funding because you're not taking care of your revenue models correctly. You're not seeking the right opportunities. You're growing at a rate you shouldn't have been growing. You lost the location. You lost a lot of revenue. Well, did you move skilled talent that isn't always the easiest to hire for, and it's out there. So you could easily hire, depends on what you do and what you're hiring for. And did you move them to another location? Did you replace somebody here? And even if you did, the onboarding and do they have that level of skill set, trust, retention rate, opening the most amount of accounts, and just so much more that you need to warm somebody up to, and it'll take another 6 months for them to get positioned to do that. So you had to take that temporary thing, or it's not a temporary thing. So now you don't have enough cash flow to put into this business, or you were using the cash flow from this one to move it over here. Now you're adding more expenses onto this business. Now you have double the expenses. Similar under one business, but now you're adding more rent, utilities, bills, making sure you're paying yourself enough of a salary for what you're taking, SDE, there's enough EBITDA. You have another business funding this other business, or you're moving money from one business to another one, fueling another one. There's more expenses. Are you doing it correctly? The revenues are coming in, the margins, cash flow, enough predictability, a market analysis, competition, durability, competitiveness with your branding, personal and business branding position. There's more that I can help with, but are you willing to help yourself? Or you can't help yourself, but I connected with him and I never committed. In fact, I never gave him feedback as he asked for it. He sent me an email, or I didn't, and you never did. The ball was in your court. And that shows me your true character. Because I see that. I see that everywhere. And again, I'm not asking you to have the highest standards, but what do you want to become? Where do you want to go? There's no ceiling, there's more to grow in life and in business. Where do you want to get to? Because I can help you. Like others have brought me up there, I'm helping out others. And we're climbing, we're ascending. It's not all about quantity of helping everyone, it's lesser volume, more quality. Sometimes you open up to more volume, but it's less volume, more quality, being more precise, doing even more thorough reviews, having that open schedule too, and more. So I know off on a tangent, but I hope you got a lot of value from this and you get to understand without me saying it always directly, because I infer a lot. I can't be direct with the right people and the circumstance and the it calls for me. I have to be direct with them, the situation and more. But I infer a lot. Very simple person. I live in Washington State. I love the fish. I keep to myself as much as I can. Once was an academic student. I played Division One soccer too. I know what it's like to go through turmoil, downturns, on the up, being lonely, and discovering a lot by being lonely. Lonely is not a bad thing. Lonely, you can discover so much about yourself and what you want to do, what you're doing, the capacity that you're doing this at, your work, your business, whatever that is. Outside of that, how you develop as a human being, the nature, the talents, the investment into the skill, not just talent, but talent times investment into the skill. What kind of ROI are you getting out of that? The being, the feelings, the emotional aptitude, the thinking, the doing. So that's all from me. Again, I hope you got a lot of value. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If there's anybody else who could use this, please share this video with them. Send them over their contact information if you would like. Send me an email, however you best prefer. If they would need the help, you know someone. If it's not you or it is you and it's someone else too that you can help, sure. And then I can email them, I can send them communication and like yourself, help them out. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you do not miss incredible business line of credit videos and not just business lines of credit, all other types of funding, finance, other ways to grow, not just in the finance funding space, but so much more that you'll get access to that I don't believe you're getting anywhere else. And the raw authenticity you're getting as someone who does not look the part theatrically, novelty seeking, like you see out there in videos, could be blog posts, social media, that so many people are subconsciously and consciously programmed to. And when not working on the inner self, the mind, body, soul, spirit, this is why you see a lot of that and people attracted to that. So that's me, or man, I just wanted entertainment value. I'm not saying I couldn't give that because at times I do, but I'm less that, very informal, very cerebral type, and kind of nice again. And I just want you to get the most information you can out of this without always seeking the newest thing because this is boring and dull, which I understand that. So I try not to make it seem in that light all the time, but not just funding and finance, but everything else, always seeking novelty. Oh, I got bored of a relationship. I got tired of doing this the way that I'm doing it, but that's what's working or it hasn't yet, but you got to keep doing more. You got to execute it better, change your way of execution, or you got to execute something different. And then there's a time and a place for more, for different. So that for sure will be everything. Look down below in the description to get more information, to get started, whether the document I showed you earlier is there or not. It's okay. Whether it is there or not, it's okay. You can always replay this, come back to. And again, if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, please voice them to me. You'll have my email, my social media, etc. Leave me a comment, and we will go from there. So that's everything. I'll talk to you soon.